I just wanted to, I mean, it seems a lot of things are coming together here, and I raised this last night in Glasgow, and that, but I wanted to put it out in light of what some other people have said, is that what we're facing here is not so much a drug problem as something wider. I mean, morality has been brought up. Stanton, you tried to draw Neil into a hypocrisy about alcohol use, and one of the things that you said, Neil, was that no government would promote drug use, but the fact is that governments globally promote drug use. The single greatest drug that's promoted is alcohol, and it's the most widely abused drug worldwide, certainly in America. So aren't we really talking about a symptom here? I mean, a mention was made of a time warp here, that we're really dealing with a much wider socioeconomic, sociological, cultural problem here, and that's what these drug use problems are as a manifestation of. Because as I understand the DSM definition of addiction, it's not drug use, it's using drugs that a doctor hasn't prescribed. And Stanton, you made the point that the single greatest drug of abuse in our country, in the United States right now, is pharmaceuticals.
Fastest growing, yeah.
Fastest growing. Doctor prescribed. And so I guess really my question is, the elephant in the room. What is addiction? What does it mean to you guys?
Should we get...
just in response to some of the questions that have come up, you know, I think in a way it's comforting to say this is all about socio-economic circumstances, and if only we could get them right, then our drug or alcohol problem would largely dissipate. And there is, you know, there's an appeal to that logic, but it seems to me it's rooted in a lie, if you like, which is that it's actually people that take drugs, it's people that drink, it's people that smoke, it's people that inject heroin, and at some point they make those judgments themselves, whatever the circumstances they're living within, and there are people living in equally impoverished sets of circumstances who do not come to the same judgment about what drugs they're going to consume. So I think that the idea that somehow or other the understanding is that our drug and alcohol problems, our substance abuse problems, are largely shaped by socio-economic circumstances is convenient for all those individuals who don't want to accept that there's a degree of responsibility for the judgments that they make. Now, if you feel that...
I want to point out that you did point out that doctors had 8 times the success rate of inner-city Scottish drug use.
Yes, but I don't take judgment out of that equation. And it seems to me that even if I'm wrong on that, even if I'm wrong that judgment doesn't play a part in the onset of drug consumption, it certainly plays a part in its cessation. Because unless at some point the individual makes that decision to stop consuming, to reduce their consuming, their consumption will not reduce. So like it or not, whether it's an explanation of onset, it is absolutely the explanation of the process of recovery, which locates primary importance in the individual's judgment about what am I going to do? Am I going to take that drink? Am I going to smoke that cigarette? Am I going to inject that drug? And that's not about socioeconomic circumstances. It is about the point at which the individual starts to take responsibility for their lives. And that, I think, goes back to the hope question. I think that is where hope is to be found, is when the individual starts to take responsibility for the judgments that they make. And I do believe that there's a degree to which we cosset individuals and say, you do not need to take that responsibility. It is my responsibility as the therapist, as the prescriber, as the doctor, as the counsellor, whatever, to take that on. But actually, I don't believe that is the road to recovery at all. I think the road to recovery is a rediscovery of the place of responsibility in the individual.